I don't think the metaphor you have for creativity is quite as broken as you think it is. I find a lot of elements of it compelling, especially what you say about unlocking the box that you've put your creativity into. The trouble I see is more with imagining creativity as a wild animal that is locked away, or a beast to be hunted through brambly jungles and subdued so it can be put on display at the creativity zoo. Our creativity is part of us, something that we are born with and that we need to cultivate from the inside, not some mysterious outside force. Writer and educator Ken Robinson talks about something called divergent thinking, which is basically the ability to think of many answers to the same question. And though it isn't the same thing as creativity, it's closely related and essential to being creative. In a study he references in a talk that I will include a link to, researchers tested 1,500 kindergarten children, and 98% scored at a genius level or above for divergent thinking, which is to say that we are born with our creativity unlocked and strong and ready to go out and make things and imagine complex metaphors. But we train ourselves out of creativity under the crushing weight of societal expectations to get the right answer in math and the right symbol in literature. We take our creativity and lock it in a box and label it dangerous, do not touch. And when we eventually decide that we want that creativity back, we have to go searching for it, even though it's been there all along, just dying to be let out and reintegrated into our magnificently complex personality. I have glasses now. I don't think we need a new metaphor for understanding creativity as much as we need a metaphor for understanding ourselves more complexly. I usually think of myself as a single unit, traveling through time and space, coherent, uniform, and unchanging, but that is so vastly incomplete, and it's obvious why. I'm not uniform or unchanging, and I'm certainly not coherent. I have lots of different parts, like the gender part, and the student part, and the American part, and the feminist part, and the biker part, and the friend part, and the creative part. And sometimes they don't all make sense together, but I still think of them all as part of me. I'm always adding and subtracting parts, and the parts themselves are always changing. The student part grows and wanes over time, but the Barack's friend part has always been pretty constant. The creativity part is one of the most difficult to integrate with the rest of how I think about myself because it changes day to day or even hour to hour. The world we live in too often presents creativity as something that you either have or you don't. You're good at or you're not. But that just isn't true on any level because everyone is creative and almost no one is good at it, even though we all have the potential to be. I too often fall into the trap of thinking, I'm just not creative today, which pretty soon turns into, I'm not creative at all. Because that's how I've learned how to think about it. But that way of imagining myself is just so crushing sometimes, and we need to figure a way out of it. I don't think I'm ever going to become the romantic ideal of the tortured artist driven to madness by the thoughts swirling inside of him. But I don't think it would be a good idea in any case, because honestly it sounds a bit miserable. What I am trying to find for myself is a way of understanding creativity that recognizes that it's hard, in the same way that I know music is hard, or math is hard. And in the same vein, I'm looking for a way to comprehend that being a person is hard, because sometimes just being seems like the hardest thing in the world. Barack, I'll talk to you soon.